Hi, I'm Kevin Miller, Superintendent here at Licking Heights, and with me is our Treasurer, Todd Griffith. Welcome to the latest video in our series about school funding and current legislation at the Ohio State House. Today, we're covering the 20 mil floor and how it impacts school funding. 20 mil floor, Todd.
Yeah, get excited.
Get excited.
Here we go. All right. Ohio follows a 6-year reappraisal cycle. I want to start out with that. Every 6 years, there's a full reappraisal that updates property values. The county auditor goes through this process. And in the middle, there's a 3-year reappraisal. So that's called a triennial update. And they do that through statistics, and they update property values based on sales. And that's important because it ends up impacting how our property values go up. When property values or reappraisals occur, they can affect your tax bill because our school district is already at the 20 mil floor. The most recent appraisal brought very large increases to our property values. But it's one of the higher ones we've seen in the state in any time recent. So across the district, property values rose by about 37.6%, resulting in tax increases in our tax bills by about 19.3%.
Yeah, so let's discuss how the 20 mil floor impacted our community and taxpayers.
Yes, let's do.
So the 20 mil floor is an important part of the school funding discussion. This idea goes back about 40 years, and it was in the 70s when property values were going up very quickly, meaning property taxes were rising also quickly. So what legislators did was pass House Bill 920 in 1976. And House Bill 920 basically said that even though property values go up, then the tax rates go down, right? Is that a good way to put it? Because House Bill 920 basically said that when you pass a levy, the value of your home, even though it increases, right, with those valuations, your obligation is locked in at the value of that home at the time the levy is passed.
That's right.
Is that a good way to say that, Todd?
I think you explained that very well.
Okay. So really, this helped protect homeowners from unexpected increases in their taxes. But what it also did was kind of lock that levy in as far as what it was collecting at the time it was passed. And so obviously costs for school districts go up because personnel costs go up, benefits go up, and the price of diesel or gas for our buses go up. But remember, that levy was locked in place when it was passed. So the result has been that Ohio has more tax levies on the ballot every year over the past several decades than any other state in the United States. That's been the result of House Bill 920.
That's right. Yep. Okay. In 1977, the state added something called the 20 mil floor, as we discussed previously. In simple terms, this sets a minimum rate for schools. A mill is just a way of measuring property tax. It's $1 for every $1,000 of taxable value. Okay, so this is important. Taxable value is not market value. So the taxable value of a property is 35% of the market value. Here's an example. If you have a $100,000 home, that someone would pay $100,000 for your home. That's market value. The taxable value on a $100,000 home is $35,000. So the tax rate is applying to the taxable value, the $35,000 in that example. 20 mils is equal to $20 for every $1,000 in taxable value. We're about 2% of the taxable value. Okay, this is another important point. The 20 mil floor was meant to be a limit or a stop to the decline in tax rate. The state said in House Bill 920 that they essentially needed to have a certain level of local funding for a school to operate in general. And so what that is they put in place a 20 mil floor, which means as property values go up and your tax rate comes down, it cannot go below 20 mils because that is the minimum they established that a school needs of local funding to continue to operate.
So a helpful way to think about it is like a thermostat on your oven. So when property values rise, like when things start to heat up in an oven, House Bill 920 acts like a cooling system. It lowers the tax rate, which keeps your actual tax bills from going up too much, right?
That's right. Yep. But the 20 mil floor is like a safety valve, essentially. So it's going to stop the cooling at 20 mils.
Okay.
It's going to go ahead and give you a level there. So there is still the appropriate amount of heat to cook your food.
Oh, that's a good way to put
That's
it.
right.
Yeah, well done. So the 20 mil floor really acts like a protection for the school district to make sure it's receiving the appropriate amount of money to really do business.
That's right. Yep.
So Todd, what does this mean for our taxpayers? How does the 20 mil floor affect their tax bills?
That's a really good question.
I thought so.
Yeah, great question. The 20 mil floor does provide inflationary revenue to the school district, and it does increase the tax bill of our taxpayers.
Mm-hmm. So really, you're saying those taxes could go up without a vote?
That's right. Yeah, they do. They go up without a vote, and that's due to, again, House Bill 920. It set a limit to how many mills a school needs to operate, and that limit is 20 mills. So that is the tax rate. Once the tax rates dip to 20 mills, it stays flat. So values go up, you still have a 20 mil tax rate.
So, but if those tax rates drop below the 20 mils, right, then and a reevaluation takes place, then that means that tax rates went down, we got to get it back up to 20 mils, so we're going to see an increase in property taxes to get it back to 20 mils.
That's right.
Is that a good way to explain it?
I think that was a good way to explain it.
Okay, good.
Yep.
So this obviously impacts Licking Heights. What about other school districts in Ohio?
Yeah, they're over probably a little over 400 school districts right now that are on the 20 mil floor.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So this is where maybe homeowners might get frustrated.
Yeah. I think we're all used to the idea of taxes only going up when voters approve a levy here in Ohio. I think generally, because of House Bill 920, we for the last 4 decades have had more tax levies for schools than any other state in the country, and so that's what we're used to. But now that there's so many schools on the 20 mil floor, we are starting to see inflationary revenue.
So, I mean, why did the legislature set it up this way?
I think when they originally set it up, it was because there was a period of hyperinflation.
Mm-hmm.
And so they were trying to do 2 things. They were trying to, one, protect taxpayers from extreme rising costs, but they were also trying to protect schools with the lower limit of 20 mils to prevent schools from running into real issues like paying their bills, their utilities, their staff. So it gives a protection to schools because they said 20 mils is the minimum needed to operate a school.
Gotcha. So we know the 20 mil floor is a complicated policy. It's not really something people talk about over the dinner table, I'm sure. But it's very important for our community to understand because it explains why your school taxes behave the way they do. So here are a few key points to remember, summed up in language as plain as we can make it. House Bill 920. This law keeps your voted property taxes from automatically rising when inflation or reappraisals. It's like a cap that holds revenue and taxes steady year to year.
Yep, the 20 mil floor. This is a rule that says school tax rate won't be pushed below 20 mils, no matter how much property values increase. It guarantees a minimum level of local funding for schools.
So House Bill 920 says your taxes won't go too high, and the 20 mil floor says your taxes can't go too low because we have to sustain our schools.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay.
Think of the 20 mil floor like a minimum service charge on a utility bill. Normally, usage might lower the cost, but there's a base charge that you'll always pay. Similarly, no matter how much property values climb, there's a base rate, 20 mils, that will always apply to fund our schools. This ensures we have enough funds to keep the schools running.
Yeah, that's so it makes me think of like when you go away on vacation and you're gone for a couple of weeks, you still have an electric bill because there's a minimum amount due
Yes.
because electricity is being supplied to your home, even
That's
though
right.
you're gone, you're not using it. That's a good way to think about it. We hope this overview gives you a clearer picture of why your tax bill is structured the way it is. It certainly is a difficult topic, but we're sharing it because informed communities make the best decisions. If you remember one thing, remember this. House Bill 920 keeps your taxes in check when property values rise, and the 20 mil floor ensures that our schools have the funding we need to continue operating. Hey, we're always here to answer questions or talk more about how school funding works. Reach out to us. We're glad to meet individually with anyone. I mean, as a matter of fact, if you would ever want to like bring your tax bill in and sit down with Todd, especially because he's got expertise in that, he'll walk you through that so you can understand, and you can understand how the 20 mil floor impacts you. Together, we can continue to ensure that Licking Heights schools remain strong while respecting the contributions of our taxpayers. Thank you. We appreciate your support.